Let's get right into it. So I'm 33 years young, and there is so much I wish that I would have known before now in my 20s, leading up to 33, even at 30. And so now that I feel like I'm a little older, wiser, I have some nuggets of wisdom that I feel like I can give to the world. I want to give them to you in this kind of big sister energy way. Before we dive in, my name is Jessie. If you're new here, I am a professional life design coach, and I am all about helping women meet themselves where they're at, love themselves and their journey of becoming, and trusting that no matter where they are in this journey, it's exactly where they're supposed to be. Giving you empowerment tools along the way to make that process a little less bumpy of a road. So let's dive in. I put these on my phone because I didn't want to forget anything. So if I'm looking down, I'm just trying to grab my notes today. These are in no particular order also. Just want to say that. I've really been getting a lot of ideas coming through lately. And so I've just been keeping this elongated list on my notes phone. And I was finally like, I think I just need to turn this into a video because there is so much that I have to say. Number one today is the power of making a decision. I can't even tell you how much of my life anxiety up to this point was caused because I was sitting in limbo trying to figure out which direction I was going to go on something, and I literally couldn't choose. I felt paralyzed by it. One thing I'm learning is that you can't get it wrong. I have plenty of videos on this. I'll tag some down below, but there's really no such thing as failure. So if you take a quote unquote misstep, you're going to learn something. You're going to help yourself evolve into a stronger, more abundant version of yourself that's wiser along the way. We know what we want. That's just the truth. Like, our soul knows what she wants. But what happens is we logic all over it to the point where we paralyze ourselves because we're putting all of these heady thoughts and overthinking into it instead of just tuning into how we feel. Instead of just pausing and asking yourself, what do I really want? I don't have to understand how it would work, but what's the choice that feels better to my being? And you're gonna get an answer. And the problem is we fight that. We try to reason with ourselves of why maybe the thing that sounds better to other people is the direction we should go. But the reason it's an argument internally is because inside you're feeling a conflict, but you're ignoring it. So the power of making a decision is everything. Getting good with making decisions quicker in life is going to save you a lot of the anguish, the grief, the anxiety. We get stuck in our own way, and our own way is blocked through overthinking something instead of just tuning into actually, what do I really want? What would feel better to me? No matter what anybody else thinks, what do I want to do? I've watched enough content on millionaires, billionaires, people who are super successful in life, and what they say is they just have speed about them. There will be people who are overthinking, trying to have these perfect executions, when by the time that person finally moves, the person over here who's actually successful is the person who has tried, failed, learned, tried again, but able to do it better because they've got new knowledge about the thing. They're not personalizing their experience. They're just moving and trusting and moving and trusting, and they built that muscle for speed. Okay, number two, I'm going to try to not be too wordy on these. Expect to have to do uncomfortable things to get the dream life that you want. I'm talking about you just signed an apartment lease a couple months in and you're needing to break it because you realize that your soul belongs in another city, country, state, whatever. You are probably gonna have to break up with some friendships or stop focusing energy on certain friendships along the way, or leave career paths, or switch to a new job, or leave relationships. There's gonna be uncomfortable things. That is normal. And the reason it can be really hard is because it is not often that everybody in a circle is trying to up-level their life. And so you can feel like the black sheep when you're trying to level up in your life and nobody else around you is really focused on those things. It can feel like you're not fun anymore, you don't care about them anymore, but that's not true. It's just you have other desires on your heart and you're starting to get serious about the things that matter to you most. Not everybody's going to understand that, and also not everybody's supposed to come with you to your next levels. So just understand that that's part of the process. You're not crazy. Also, don't worry about if those people just can't handle it and they want to drop you from their life or whatever, things get dramatic for a while, because there will be more friends that are to come once you are able to let go of the things no longer serving you anymore and the people, places, things that no longer fit in your life. Like, everything gets replaced. When friends leave our life, there is what can feel like an empty period, but that is actually filled with you evolving, shedding for your personal growth. once you've done that process, what's going to fill that space is then the new people. Things are just shifting, and it is normal, and you're not crazy, and it is supposed to feel like that because you're creating a new life and foundation for yourself. And that is not something that just happens overnight, and it's not something that just happens super smoothly. Oftentimes it's usually a bit of a rocky ride. So just know that. I'll leave it there. Okay, number 3, again, no particular order, but I almost wonder if this should have come first. Your subconscious mind is the mind. It is the mind. It is one that controls your mind, because your subconscious mind is your belief system. It is the core beliefs that you are operating your daily life through. It is essential that you control it, because otherwise it will control you. And I operated for so long being controlled by my subconscious mind, not even realizing it, thinking it was my mind, thinking that that was my life, not realizing that that was just the programming that I was under for the whole time. And the thing is, with the subconscious mind, it takes repetition. I'm currently in that rewiring. I feel like 2024 for me has been a total focus on reprogramming and deep diving into subconscious. And through all the learnings and deep diving I've done, I've realized like it just comes down to repetition, and it comes down to how much do you want certain things in your life to change, and how willing are you to do the work, because it is effort in the beginning. How much are you willing to do the uncomfortable, awkward thing of listening to subliminals, high vibrational sounds, frequencies, positive affirmations, content that builds you up, versus the comfortable mainstream music, for example, doomsday news, doom scrolling on conspiracy theories and stuff. Now, a lot of that can be fun, but you have to understand that everything is programming. Everything is seeping into the subconscious and telling you what you believe. And those beliefs are, again, what is causing you to operate on a day-to-day basis the way that you do and think the way that you think, and therefore attract in what you attract in. So if I could go back and do any one thing different, it would be to take my subconscious mind serious, because that is something that I'm now starting to do. I'm seeing changes in a more exciting way happening faster on all levels of my life. And I think a lot of people are not quite realizing how true what I'm saying is. They're living on autopilot, feeling like life is happening to them. But I'm telling you, as a life coach who's coached hundreds of people, this is a foundation to master, and you want to do it sooner than later. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a bonus tip on how I do that really easily in my life, so that way it doesn't have to feel like work, it actually gets to feel like fun. And so stay tuned for that at the end. Okay, number 4, nobody's going to tell you this because industries thrive off of you needing them, but as a coach, I'm literally going to say this. But I will say there's a caveat. If you've never worked with a coach, you don't know what you don't know. So it doesn't hurt to start your journey by working with somebody to get some insight and reflection back, learning some new tools. There's so many benefits. Something that happened to me throughout the years, like I would say probably like 7 or so years of just back-to-back working with coaches, I started to lose a sense of my own empowerment. I started to question and doubt myself more than trust myself, because I was never really making my own decisions when I was working with coaches constantly. I was always being told, well, if you have questions or if you don't know what to do, just reach out to me, we'll set up a session, right? And that feels very supportive, and it is, but at some point that was building a muscle of me feeling like everybody else had the answers except for me. And honestly, I'm kind of breaking out of that. And so it's not like never have a mentor. You want to hire a mentor that has a mentor, right? But I am looking at mentorship in different ways. The mentors that I have, a lot of them don't even know I exist. I have a lot of mentors via YouTube, or I read a lot. A lot of this past year for myself, I kind of went cold turkey on working with coaches or booking sessions or having readings done. I needed to connect with my own empowerment system and my own intuition and be able to hear the advice that I needed to receive. I needed to be able to strengthen my own inner knowing so that I could more confidently walk my path. I'm not saying I'll never have another coach again, but when you start to rely on those things, you do lose a lot of those muscles within yourself. It's kind of like the gym. Like you can't, if you just stop going to the gym, your muscles get weaker. And the same thing with intuition. If you're just not practicing tuning in, meditating, asking yourself what you like and moving towards that, then it becomes harder to hear what it has to say. And then you're forced to live in this state where you're not feeling like you're where you're supposed to be a lot of times. And then you're reaching out to other people to help you with the answers. And it's just a whole loop of disempowerment. And so I want to encourage you, if you start working with coaches, if you start feeling like, okay, I'm ready to kind of shift into my own thing, I want you to honor that. Go cold turkey without any outside influence at all on walking your path and see where you end up. Number 5, moving right along, record everything. Not just because you're gonna want to see your transformations as you grow through your 20s, and you're gonna want to have that on record because it's inspiring to see how far you've come. My own transformations have been epic, I think, but it's also because I want you to see that your life is worth recording. You are a valuable person in this world and you deserve to be seen. And so even if you do nothing with those recordings except for keep them for yourself, it's a nice little keepsake in a way to show yourself, oh, I love myself, like I love seeing myself. I think social media gets a bad rap calling people narcissists and whatever, and I think there's some of that, but I also love to see it as, wow, these people really love themselves and they want to share it with the world, and I think we need more self-love like that going on. If you can record yourself more, allow yourself to see yourself, like that's powerful. Number 6, stop waiting. Give yourself permission. I promise you, your 20s are meant to be a bit of a hot mess. You all over the place, pivoting left and right, taking crazy risks, crazy adventures, trying different things, because a lot of people in their 20s, right, don't have families yet, they're not tied down to anything. It's totally your game to play. So if there's anything I could do different, it would have really been just taking advantage of the fact that there's so much time and so much freedom and flexibility, and maybe you don't have the most money you're ever going to have in your life yet. Give yourself permission to enjoy that time and this experience that you have. Seek adventure, seek discomfort. Watch the channel Yes Theory if you need some inspiration on that. I have a Yes Theory video on my channel, so don't even worry. Be sure to check that out. But yeah, I feel like I just spent so much time in my 20s just stressing about the future or where I should be in that moment. I was just so stressed about career, needing to be somebody, trying so hard, living in a constant ball of stress. But then it's funny because I ended up leaving my career, starting all over, moving, so all the drama, none of it mattered. It all worked itself out, and I couldn't have made this up. I couldn't have designed this. It unfolded so beautifully in the way it was supposed to. So there was nothing I needed to do to try to control the outcome anyways, because it was gonna form how it's gonna form. So relax, give yourself permission. Don't wait to do the things you want to do. Just go for them now. Find a way, and I promise you, you're gonna look back on it and be like, wow, what a crazy, amazing story I wrote for myself at that time in my life. I'm so proud of you. I don't want you to look back at your 20s and have any regrets. I want you to feel like you squeezed the juice as much as you could out of your experience, your years, your decade in there. Because there's always going to be things to worry about, right? There's always going to be stresses and whatever in the world. But if you don't have to stress now, don't. And on top of that, I do wish that I would have took that to heart more, or actually tried to not stress more, because that's a muscle that you build, and so when you can de-stress more often, your life is better. Your life flows better. I'm just now really learning these things, and I'm feeling more calm and happier in my life. But man, if I could have built those muscles sooner, I wouldn't be trying to build them now. Number 7, dream big. I'm telling you, dream big, but then dream bigger. Write the things down that you desire to experience, and do write them down, because it's wild how much faster things can come into your world when they are written on paper. I'm not trying to be a manifestation coach. I'm just telling you what I've seen, experienced, and things happen with more speed when they're written down. It's almost like there's more conviction or something behind it. But do allow yourself to dream and understand that we live in a limitless possibilities world. Anything you want is possible. So why not dream big? I had a friend who was talking about how she was trying to manifest 20K months at the time. She was teaching me some ways that she was going about it. And I was like, well, what if I could play the game with 30K months? I mean, if I'm going to start from the same place, why not dream a little bit bigger? And I didn't even realize that I was building that dream bigger muscle and creating more possibilities to come into my life by doing that. I want you to get delusional. I want you to think of crazy things and know that nothing's too crazy. And if you're like, I don't even know where to start, we have ChatGPT now, Pinterest, creep on people's Instagram pages, just walk around and put yourself in, abundant areas, see what's going on, and open your perspective and your world. I definitely want to suggest the book Happy Pocket Full of Money, because in that book, he talks about the same idea, and essentially the more ideas you have, the more life you can experience. You're allowed to want more things, want bigger things, all of it is possible for you, and it will happen in its own right time. Just put it down, trust it, and keep moving. I feel like I'm only just now starting to let myself get delusional, and I spent my whole 20s being like, I don't need to be a millionaire. What would I do with that money anyways? But now I'm like, oh my gosh, $1 million feels like nothing for the first time. Saying those words out loud, allowing myself to accept that's something that I want. Also, self-worth is super involved with dreaming big. Like, I think as my self-worth has grown, so has my ability to feel safe dreaming big, but also my desire to dream big and to put these pen to paper. Suddenly I'm starting to feel like, oh, like I am worthy of this and I can have it if I want to. It's only a matter of time. There's nothing I have to do because I am worthy just because I am. And that's what I want you to start building within yourself as well. Number 8, everything you do at night is going to affect your success the next day. Your nighttime is going to determine how you wake up, if you feel tired, on top of the world, able to show up for the things you're wanting to do to move your goals forward. Like, it all really does depend on your night routine. And now, I'm not somebody who is a big believer in having such a rigid routine for yourself. I just think it's important to have some kind of a cutoff time to tell yourself, okay, at this time, I'm going to start winding down. For me, 9:15 is my cutoff time for tech. Like 9:15 p.m., no matter what I'm doing, I force myself to build a habit of shutting things down and beginning a wind down for myself. I need time to wash off my makeup, slowly get into a sleepy state. Maybe I want to take a bath, read, journal, listen to a nighttime meditation, just some winding things down. Like, I really believe you've got to prepare yourself to get great sleep. I've just learned the hard way how not only important sleep is, but also I haven't been able to just casually fall asleep since I was a teenager. Like, I gotta really prep, and now I know myself and I don't go against myself anymore on these things. I don't think there's any one right way to do it, but just know yourself, get honest with yourself, and do what works for you. Our subconscious minds are just wild. They're sponges. So if the last thing you do before you go to bed is like you fall asleep to a scary movie, you're either gonna have weird dreams or you're gonna wake up in a weird energy, or maybe you're gonna be more susceptible to some self-doubt, criticism, versus if the last thing you did was you listened to some uplifting music, a wind down journaling sesh, writing all your gratitudes, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, wow, today's a great day. I'm so grateful that I woke up and I get to live this day and try again. I've just really tuned into the extreme differences of my mornings when my night is a certain way, and it's wild. If you don't believe me, start tuning in, just start playing with things. I promise you it'll be different. I promise you. And maybe it's just going to be in your dream state or the deep REM sleep you were able to get, but like, there will be a difference. Please get in the habit of having good sleep. Anything else could be going wrong, but like, if you don't get good sleep, that's going to throw everything off. Number 9, focus more on the things that you desire to experience than what isn't working. That's because the saying, where energy goes, energy flows, like, there's not a truer statement. What you focus on is what you're going to grow. If there's anything that's going on in your life that you don't like or you wish would change, it is not going to change by you focusing on it. For the longest time for me, looking at my student loan debt, I was like, oh my God, the student loan debt is just like, blah, and I'd just be like, I can't wait for it to go away. I can't wait for it to go away. And I'd just like sit there and stare at it all the time. I'd always be checking it. Every time I made a payment, I'd be like, oh, it's all like this much lesser now. And I was just so focused on it. But when I stopped and I only allowed myself to look at it when I was making a payment towards it, I swear the student loans went down way faster. It's magic. But that's true with anything, really. If there's anything you don't like, don't focus on it. This has helped me in multiple ways, not just money, but with friends, family, my boyfriend, all kinds of things where I didn't like what was going on. I've been practicing, okay, well, I don't want more of this. Like, okay, so I'm able to either look away or trust that it will resolve itself, and always it does. It's crazy. It's like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to come up with all the solutions all the time every time things are going wrong. You just decide, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore, and you simply look away. This is not to pretend things aren't happening. This is just acknowledging energy and saying, I don't need to add more energy to this. It almost sounds too simple, but I swear the amount of arguments that my boyfriend and I have had that have been resolved via this, where I just go on a walk and I tell God to take care of it, and I come back and it's resolved, it's like mind-blowing. And then it's like we became better afterwards. So the energy I would have put into it probably wouldn't have helped anyways. So anyways, they're like, not to be this like super enlightened being or anything, like I'm not perfect, but this tool has helped me a lot, and I think it can help you too by just really focusing more energy on what you more desire to experience in your life, because you deserve that. And on top of that, I will say, going back to the money thing, if you're in your 20s and you're broke, which is totally normal, don't even claim that. Literally don't. Tell yourself, I'm the most abundant, wealthy person I know. Just start lying to yourself. Just start speaking absurdities, because it's more in the direction of what you want to experience. And our words carry so much weight. There's a reason we call it spelling, right? You've heard that before. Truly, be mindful of the things you say about yourself and the boxes you put yourself in. You are abundant. You are wealthy. You are rich. You're a millionaire. You make so much money, whatever amount of money you want to make a month, it just happens for you. And you start to speak these things in, and you start to put the focus, again, more on what you do want versus the reality that feels more true in the moment that you can actually tangibly see. Because something to keep in mind is that your current experience is only happening because it is your past thoughts coming into form. Okay, now we're going down some rabbit holes. Back to the list. Number 10, this is super random, but I wish that I had gotten blood work done sooner to understand how to live more optimally in my own body, because everybody is different. So what works for somebody over here is not going to necessarily work for somebody over here, and that's why diets don't work for everybody. It's easier to just get blood work done from an integrative nutritionist, for example, to understand through just direct information what your body thrives with, what it really can do without, what you're deficient in, and then you start supplementing for deficiencies versus supplementing because everybody tells you need a vitamin C. It's like, well, maybe there's other ways for you to either get that, or maybe there's something else that would be more optimal for you and your specific body. I've talked so much on Health Journey, but if I could just really say one thing about it, that is a really great way to understand yourself at a whole other level and start to shift your life more powerfully and feel empowered in your own skin. It'll just help you make smarter decisions overall and feel better. And then truly, once your health feels great, like everything else just flows. Why am I telling you this on this list? Because I don't want you to have to go and have to do this stuff later. I had a huge experience where coming into 30, I didn't know what was going on with my body. It was like shutting down because I was ignoring it for so long, or I was treating it like a garbage can for my entire 20s. And then my 30s has been a blessing in a lot of ways, because now I'm more optimally healthy than I've ever been. But I don't think your world has to crash in the way mine did for you to feel good in your body. So I want to encourage you to go to an integrative specialist, get some blood work done. Also, it's a gene mutation test that Gary Brecka offers. Some of these are a little pricey, but usually you only have to do them once and you're good. Or some of the blood work, it's like every 7 years or something. So really this stuff is an investment, but it is the most important investment you could ever make, is just to understand the inner workings of your body. All right, so we made it to 10. I promise you there was a bonus 11th tip for you. So when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious, like I was talking about, that super crucial component of life, there are many ways to do it, but one of my absolute favorites has become playing around with my voice memos app on my iPhone, because it's using the most powerful tool we have to reprogram our subconscious, and that is our voice and our own vibration. That is what resonates with our own subconscious the most. So it actually takes less work. Okay, so hopefully you can see it. So I just click in the app. I have so many different recordings I've done. I make money songs for myself. I have my manifested self that I randomly will make around speaking into existence as if it's already happening, the life that I most desire. You know, I was working towards my yoga certification, and I just wanted to feel more confident in that. And so, I just will practice my voice in here. There's so many just empowerment moves you can make in your voice memos app that nobody's talking about. I'll make a little song for myself or whatever, and then I will listen to it a lot while I'm on a walk outside or I'm at the gym. And I just try to get it on repeat, so that way it's really seeping in, and you do that multiple days in a row. I'm talking a couple weeks straight of just nonstop listening to these things that you voice recorded. And it's incredible how fast your life will shift, how fast things will come in, because us having the things that we want it's our beliefs at work. And so what you're doing is you're reprogramming your core beliefs to say, oh yeah, I feel worthy of that, or that being in my life is totally normal. Like I actually just expect that because that's just part of who I am. And that's what you're doing when you're doing these subconscious listenings of your own voice. Have fun with that, play around, and comment below if you've ever done that, or if you're willing to try that. If you have any questions, I would love to connect. If you got value out of today's video, it would mean the world if you liked and shared this message with other people that you think might get some value out of this too. Maybe they're also in their 20s, or not quite 33 yet, and this big sister wisdom would be helpful for them. It would mean the world if you shared it. Also, subscribing, that really helps me out. All right, I'll see you in the next video.